Good afternoon, everyone. Today is March 2nd, 2026. This is the 3 p.m. version of the Rowan County Board of Commissioners, and we are glad that you have chosen to join us today. We begin our meeting, as we do every meeting, with a couple of things. We're going to have a Pledge of Allegiance, but we're going to ask our chaplain if he'll come forward, and he's going to lead us in what is called a solemnizing prayer. A solemnizing prayer is for the commissioners. It's not for you. You don't have to put your fingers in your ears. We welcome you to listen along, but it's for us because we ask our chaplain, most importantly, to pray for wisdom as we are making decisions on behalf of all of the folks of Rowan County. So we'll do that again today. Chaplain, if you'll come forward. Commissioners, if you'll join me, we'll begin.
Thank you, Commissioners. Let's pray. Lord, we come to you this day. Thank you for an opportunity to be here today with these folks today. Thank you for our county commissioners, dear Lord. We thank for the hard work they do and the things they do to help us to have a better county here in Rowan County, dear Lord. Pray you give them the wisdom they need today, any decision to be made. Pray you encourage them as we need to be encouraged in all we do to have a better county for you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Chaplain Taylor. As always, appreciate you being with us. Commissioner Caskey won't be with us tonight. He is serving again in reserves. He has training this week, so keep him in your prayers as well. Let's see, I've got one item to add to the agenda. It's a 2027 federal appropriations funding request. We'll add that as consent item N as in Nancy. And that's all I have. Any additions or deletions from my friends?
Mr. Chairman, what you just added to the consent agenda, is it going to come from us, these monies? Is it coming from the county?
No, this is whenever we apply for grants, if the county applies for state or federal grants, we have to agree to apply for them.
Well, I hate to ask, but this is the first time I've seen this, and it's $4.5 million worth of money that I want to know where it's going and where it's coming from. So that's why I asked.
All right. I think you knew about the therapeutic recreation facility. That was Mike's thing.
How long ago?
He's been talking to us about that for some time, yeah. About that adult.
You talking about the disability part?
Yeah.
Well, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
I just,
and then
it's not titled that way.
Yep, I get it. And then let's see. And then the same with the EMS station, applying for $3 million to fund South Rowan EMS station.
Well, as long as it ain't coming from the county, I'm fine.
Okay. All right. Any other additions or deletions, clarification? All right, if not, do we have a motion to accept the agenda as amended?
So moved.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion to approve the consent
So
agenda?
moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Consent. The
And-
consent agenda as altered.
Yes, sir, correct.
Thank you.
And then next we've got public comment. Do we have any public comment? Bobby, how do you pronounce that? How do you pronounce your last name?
Kemp.
Kemp? Mr. Kemp, welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good to see you.
Good to be here this afternoon. Y'all may remember, I started coming to y'all back in February of 2024. That's been over 2 years ago. And if you remember, I came and I said I was coming to you as our first line of defense. Y'all remember that? I approached y'all as our first line of defense and helping because of the property tax evaluation. I may go, with your permission, I won't go over 5 minutes if you'll grant me 2 more minutes this evening. It may not take that long for what I'm going to say, but I would like to finish out what I start. Would that be okay?
We'll see how it goes.
Oh, boy.
Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, as they say.
I've talked to him before I got here. It's not going to.
Okay.
I've had people approach me, especially in the line as greeting people at the polls, and talk about building permits and that issue. Discussion I had with one person was that we have our contractors coming in from outside of Rowan County to build. Before they get a permit for that, they recommended that we would get a form put together that would have to go back to our zoning and our building inspectors, and on that form it would say, if we will sign off on your permit, if you'll go to our sheriff's office and make sure they have officers to take care of it. We'll sign off on your permit if you go to our fire department and they say they've got the help that will take care of that. Go to the school system, see how many children more they can take on. That way, we don't always assume somebody else's responsibility for letting them come into the county. And that was, I got more to say about that, but like I say, I'm limited on time, so I'm gonna move on. I talked to you last time I was here about the veterans' homes. A lot of people heard about that. I've had a lot of people reach out to me. Looks like that the biggest thing I would need from our commissioners here, and I know the county has a lot of land that's really what you call tied up, but some of that land can be untied and be used. And we would need someone, when we get the numbers put together, about helping to write a grant. And just like the tax reform bill that got started, if y'all don't choose to go forward with that, I've got other means that I'll try to do that too. As a citizen, I can do a lot. I'm a citizen here in Rowan County. I'm a taxpayer, and you know I come to y'all with things that I have on my mind and things that I can do to help the people, and I want to present it to y'all. I don't undermine nothing. I mean, I want to come to y'all and discuss what we can do to help. But there is ways to get it done, and I hope y'all can really consider that. I've got some folks working on some stuff. Like I say, I've had people come to me and tell me they were, proud of what I said and that they would like to see or get help for our veterans. So if y'all would, don't race that off your thoughts, because I've got more I want to say about that. The tax reform bill, I'm really surprised that we don't hear about that more here in our county, especially through our local Salisbury Post, to keep the people updated. As y'all know, that they started the tax reform committee last December. And since that's took place, our senators have jumped on board too. Just a couple of things I want to read here. Senate members will consider policy proposals to rein in the runaway property tax practices being implemented across the state. As I told you last time when I started this, I was trying to help Rowan County. But along the way, I found out that I had to go through it had to be for the whole state. So I started reaching outside of our county and talking to people. Got a lot of people on board. At least there's something happening now. It said the Senate will begin work immediately and follow the State House, which was formed this selected committee in this past December of last year. And I'm looking forward. I know some things that's taking place there. It's going to bring help to the people. It's not going to affect the county budget. That's a blessing, isn't it? On some things that they're going to do. And, I'm proud of the stand I took. I'm proud of the way that I went about doing it. Like I said, I didn't undermine nobody. I tried to come before y'all and ask for help. When you couldn't help, when I was told I had to go through representatives, I took that task on personally, and that's exactly what I did. And I look forward to seeing some of these things come about. There's people that contacts me regularly, won't know when it's going to happen, Like I say, I'm just a citizen. I'm just a taxpayer. I can start the fire, but these other people's making it burn. And I'm hoping here in the next month or two that we really get some feedback on this, on what's going to take place. But I just want to come before y'all again this afternoon and bring those 3 things out. I think the one about the permits and the zoning permits was a real good idea. That way we don't overload the fire department, don't overload the schools, don't overload our police department. These people come in and build their homes like that, and they throw the burden on the county. And then they're gone. They make their money and they're gone. And so I think we need to get some stipulations on that. Again, I appreciate y'all listening and give me this time. If I went over, sir, I'm sorry. But y'all have a good afternoon.
Thank you, Bobby. It's always good to see you. All right, we'll start on our regular agenda. And Pamela, where's Pamela? There she is, snuck in. Good to see you, Pamela. Got a public hearing for a road name change.
Yeah. I have two of them today. How do I make this bigger? The one. Sorry. Okay, now we're good. So the first one is for a road off of South River Church Road. Somebody's interested in adding a residence there, which would make it the third residence off of this one driveway, which requires it to be named. We received a petition from the landowners and settled on a name of Three Forks Drive, which was approved, and that's why we have it here today. Any questions about that one? That was pretty run-of-the-mill. The other one I have, a little bit different the way it came about. DOT just finished a project on Henderson Grove Church Road. So they added the extended road that went from Henderson Grove over to West Ritchie. So what happened, we've got this road, and if you can see it, it's the yellow and the purple depict what the one road would be if we kept the name. So this would be Henderson Grove, and this could be Henderson Grove. So the committee got together, the addressing committee, looked at it and decided we thought the best course of action, since they closed the railroad track, was to extend Jacob Bost Road, which is already an existing road, to this upper portion, and then let the new connecting road go down with the old Henderson Grove Church Road. So that being said, and it's kind of confusing, but it was taken to the city of Salisbury because it's in their ETJ, got their approval, also took it to the DOT because they're both state roads, and I've got their approval. So I'm just presenting it here, see if we can get your guys' approval.
Good.
That's it.
Jay, can we do both of these at once? All right. I'd like to open the floor, and we're going to have, it's one of these things, we have to have a public hearing. So there may be some folks here that want to speak on it. If anyone would like to speak on this, let us know.
I'd like to speak on it.
Okay.
Is this going to be affected by the airport parkway? Because it's in that close proximity. Well, you know, they've never determined where it's going yet, and that's why I've got a little concern about renaming roads, and they end up coming through there.
The connecting road has to have a name of some sort.
Sure.
And we were just trying to get the lesser, you know, there's no addresses affected because there's nobody that lives on that road.
Sure.
There's no businesses. There's nothing. So it's basically just a placeholder, just trying to dot our I's and cross our T's. But I do not have any kind of information about that.
Anything to add from you?
As Pam mentioned, it needs a name, whether it's truly impacted by the final design of the airport parkway to be determined. But at this point here, it makes the most sense of just keeping that name. We'll cross that bridge if it gets there. I mean, still a good point, but to date, we're not aware of any immediate impact.
Thanks. All right, anyone else? All right, then we'll close the public hearing. And we have a motion to accept the Three Forks and Jacob Bost Road indicators.
So moved. Second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you. All right, Shane, Kevin Centenary. Oh,
There's the quasi-judicial hearing here.
The hearing for consideration of SUP 01-26 is now in session and will focus on an application submitted by Kevin Setneri for an expansion of existing dog boarding kennel located at 2230 Old Union Church Road. If you feel that any member of the board may have a conflict of interest in hearing the case, please address the board now prior to any testimony or information being presented. When the board enters into deliberations to decide the case, no further testimony may be presented. The board will render one of the following three decisions. 1, will approve the permit as requested or with additional conditions. 2, continue the request, or 3, deny the request. All parties who plan to testify in this case may come forward and be sworn in. Those who testify must state their name and address at the podium for the benefit of the board's clerk. All material presented must be given to the clerk and will become part of the record. This board can accept only sworn testimony, no hearsay evidence admissible. Shane, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Shane Stewart, Rowan County Planning Office, 402 North Main Street, Salisbury. So the request here, as the chairman read, is for a special use permit. The subject address 2230 Old Union Church Road, and is to allow for an expansion of an existing dog daycare and boarding kennel facility known as Camp Furry Friends. Now here this afternoon, representing the owners and applicant is Ms. Jessica Holman. She's property owner and owner of the business here too. So Kevin Setneri was the applicant, but this is his wife. So let's first orient you to the property. See the outline here in blue just south of Crane Creek, and up here is the Aldi distribution facility in East Spencer. So 85 Old Union Church, side road is Wildwood. On the left-hand side is a 25 aerial that depicts the subject properties outlined in blue. So when you add the adjacent parcel 055008 that's also owned by the applicant, it's just over 42 acres of land that they own. And their current residence and the boarding facility is here in the center of the site. I believe it began around 2007, 2008 as different boarding facility uses, and they have a grooming operation and some other things. This board back 5 years ago approved the first expansion after that initial construction back 18 years ago. So the expansion included some structures around the site here at that time. So now they have interest in consolidating that series of structures and uses into one large facility up here in the northeastern corner. You slide over to the right, this is the overall site plan with all the detail that captures that 42 acres, but we're going to focus on this upper right-hand corner. And looking in, here's Old Union Church. Here's the eastern property line. A proposed 6,000 square foot building. They do have a 14 by 40 awning here identified as covered porch. So that will allow their customers to come through, drop off the animals under cover, and go inside the building. And this is a covered play area, a 60 by 60. Would have a 6-foot minimum fence around the facility for outdoor play in a contained environment there. The nearest, the setbacks to nearest property line is about 100 feet as required by the ordinance on the eastern side and to Old Union Church Road. It will have a new entrance off Old Union Church. The current is down here that's, I think, give or take a bit, about 900 feet off the main road to the site. So better access for the customers. And also DOT was at the site about a month ago and indicated this is a suitable location for a commercial driveway permit. I don't think it's going to have 18 spaces, probably about 10, but that's in the depicted area here that if we look in the upper right is a better detail image of what they propose. Access that will come through the site under the porch, wrap around, and then probably about 10 spaces here for that site. But more than they need, I believe. On the left-hand side, they've already paid for a survey that confirms that they meet these 100-foot setbacks, and also the adjacent floodplain area here, just to make sure that they're going to build on higher ground and outside that location. The image here is a prototype of what they propose. The awning clearly will be much different. It'll come out 14 feet. As far as the post and the masonry detail, that's to be determined. This is approximately what type structure that they're proposing. And then off the side here would be that covered play area. For kennel operations, they're subject to these 3 base requirements, which with all the information submitted in your agenda packet, they do meet. Have a current boarding facility license here for 40 dogs. They have 15 enclosures currently, and they propose about the same. And the new facility may not have that many, but of course that's what the license covers here. You can see 40 is the capacity and 15 for current. Have about 4 months left until they have to renew their yearly license for 26-27, and reached out to the animal welfare section per this email here highlighted. No concerns with the current operation or their proposed expansion. Look at a few images around the area in a clockwise manner. Top left, from the approximate location of the drive looking back west, the subject 42 acres here to the left, and then down here is Wildwood Road. Opposite direction looking back east, this is the proposed structure location here, and the adjacent property line to the east, and the buffer we'll talk about here shortly. Across the street, looking back in the foreground, would be the proposed facility, and then if you can see at a distance, that's probably 800 feet away, as their current operation you can see in the background here. And lastly, if you see this corner here, that's the eastern boundary running about perpendicular to the property line to the road. That's the retained buffer they're going to keep. You see the backhoe or the excavator here, that's where the building's proposed, and then there may be a slight little opening here that you can see through the trees. The ordinance requires a type A buffer, so opaque screen. They may supplement with a few evergreens in there to satisfy the buffer. From a land use plan perspective, which speaks more on rezonings, not as much special use permit, but I think for the context here, what's reasonable for the public to expect? Your site is in the transportation corridor for 85, which generally is going to recommend non-residential uses. And then you also have potential retail service in major collector and principal arterials. Old Union Church isn't far off from that category, to having about 6,000 trips a day at 85. And so I think all in all, it supports the request. And then lastly, a request, any expansion within that corridor is generally supported, and also the enhanced buffer when we're adjoining residential uses. Let me touch this a little bit on a little bit larger area. So this star will represent the proposed building location. There is a permitted house here. It's not under construction yet. That's the only current / permitted dwelling within 300 feet of the structure. So outside of this structure here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 homes within a quarter mile. All this is the centenary Holman property here. You have a rural home occupation on the north side. It's a welding facility, and then also a CBI CD zoned property here 2 years ago for a race car shop off Jenny Drive. Here are the 6 standards the applicant would need to meet, and they provided their feedback in the agenda attachments. They did provide a real estate opinion statement here for your consideration too, from Brianna Molina from last month, indicating in general that her opinion, the proposed building would not negatively impact the market value of the referenced property. Staff did not receive any phone calls or emails, and I know the owners have spoken with their two nearest neighbors, and Ms. Jessica can confirm, but I don't think any of those neighbors had concerns with the request. And back in the 21 request, no neighbors were concerned, at least at the hearing or in sharing with staff either. 10 letters went out, and then the sign posted on the property. So Jessica did share that she's present for questions, but don't have anything specific to offer unless the board has questions of her, but she's the only person sworn in. So after confirming with her, there's no follow-ups or corrections she wants to make to anything I shared, we would move into the findings. I do have example findings for the board's consideration. So you would need a motion for those three and then a motion for the special use permit. Any questions?
Shane, could you go back to the drawing of the kennel that you had? There, whoop. Go one forward. There you go. Okay. If I'm reading this right, there's 12 kennels, 9 by 20. Is that correct?
This is the parking area.
Oh, parking. Where's the actual building?
Yeah, from this image here, this is just a big rectangle, so it's trying to articulate the
Okay.
further detail.
So the building is 60 by 100.
Correct.
Okay.
And then that's
That
the,
helps. Thank you.
All right, anything to add? All right, any questions for Shane? We would open the floor if anyone has anyone from the audience would like to speak. All right, if no one would like to speak, then we'll move into our approval process. And the first thing we'll do is read the findings and then the facts. Does anyone want to do that?
I don't have it.
All right. All right, so I'll make each of these, well, these three can be done on one approval. So first, the development of the property in accordance with the proposed conditions will not materially endanger the public health or safety. Fact, according to the staff report, a site inspection conducted by NCDOT determined the proposed driveway location is suitable for connection to Old Union Church Road. Second fact is, according to the staff report, current and proposed kennel operations are subject to annual licensure and periodic inspections with the Animal Welfare Section of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture, ensuring compliance with health and safety standards. Secondly, second finding is that the development of the property in accordance with the proposed conditions will not substantially injure the value of adjoining or abutting property, or that the development is a public necessity. Fact, licensed real estate agent Brianna Molina with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate submitted a letter stating that in her review, the proposed building would not negatively impact the market value of the reference property. The third finding, that the location and character of the development in accordance with the proposed conditions will be in general harmony with the area in which it is located, in general conformity with any adopted county plans. Fact one, proposed plans comply with the 3 special use requirements for boarding kennel operations. Fact two, according to the staff report, there's 1 permitted dwelling and 0 current dwellings within 300 feet of the proposed building, which are currently or will by ordinance requirement adequately screen from the proposed building. Thirdly, according to the staff report, the property owners indicated all dogs boarded overnight will be kept indoors, minimizing noise impacts. And lastly, the land use plan recommends that properties along the I-85 corridor and this segment of Old Union Church Road be generally designated for certain commercial use, establishing a general expectation for future non-residential uses in the area. So that's a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And then we'll need to do, Shane, 6 separate motions for evaluation criteria.
No, sir, you
No.
wrapped it up with those findings,
right.
and then one motion
One
for the
motion
approval.
For approval, all right. Then do we have an overall motion to approve SUP 01-26?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposed? All right, thank you. Congrats. Looks like a neat building. Good luck to you. Yeah, well done. Thanks for investing in the area. Appreciate it. Valerie, you're next. Public hearing for fiscal year '27 transit system fare increase.
Good afternoon. So we're here to discuss in an open forum of a potential fare increase. Right now, our fully allocated cost is over $4.25 per mile. Our current trip rate is $2 per trip. We did have an advisory board meeting. Specifically in that meeting, we did not propose a number to the board. We just asked them to have a discussion and tell us their thoughts. Initially, they thought to do $1 increase this year and another $1 increase the following year. Then they had some more discussion and thought it might be better to do the $2 increase all at once and then not do an increase for another extensive period of time. And the proposed increase with their support at this time is to go up to $4 per trip. So a trip would be from like the house to the doctor's appointment, and then the next trip would be the doctor's appointment back to the house. So a total of $8 if you did a round trip. So a little bit of history. Christy was able to help me with this. The last fare increase was in 2015. That was prior to transit becoming an in-house county-run system. We were under a contract with MB Transportation, and it is still the same with RTS being mostly supported by grant funding, but thankfully the county steps in to give us funding as well, otherwise we couldn't operate. Prior to the increase, it was only the shared ride clients paying the $2. They went through all the public hearing meetings and did end up making it $2 for dialysis clients as well. That was in FY 2016, they started it. And a big reason for it, and another reason why we're here today, is the dialysis keeps increasing, and we want to continue to support dialysis without having to start a wait list again. So our current grant funding, 5310, that's the one for seniors and individuals with disabilities. Human agencies, service agencies don't pay fares, so it does not impact them if we do this increase. HCCBG, you cannot charge, so any of the clients running under HCCBG would not be affected by this fare increase. ROPE has in 3 parts. One is the human services, wouldn't change for them. And then dialysis clients currently are $2, and the shared ride clients are $2 per trip. So that's kind of our current status.
So it stays then.
And any fares or funds collected have to go back to services. So the fare increase would immediately turn around and just offset and slow down the bleed of what we're paying out. So we wouldn't be taking it as a profit. We're non-for-profit. We don't make enough on our own. It would just slow down how quickly we're spending our rope funds, because the $2 or $8 that come in goes right back into the program. This is one of our stats. This is the official page, cut and paste, that we send to the state. What I want to point out in here is our operating expenses, administrative and capital expenses. So our operating expenses alone are over 1.5. This is the previous year, FY24, for the full year, over 1.4. And so if we look at our fares and our trips, in '25, we had 33,693 trips, and our operating expenses were over 1.5 million. The total fares we collected was $7,042. The breakdown is percentage-wise there. Rural dialysis and urban dialysis are our top percentages. You could see in the previous year, it was 3%. It's gone up 1% from rural. Urban's just a little bit of an increase. Number of trips were a little higher in '24. We did get a little more in fares because of that, but you could see that just the 7,000 and a $1.5 million total fares is not very much to collect. One of the thoughts we had is an Uber or a Lyft or a taxi cab or driving your own car is all more expensive than a trip with Rowan Transit. So I can't say for certain, but I do know dialysis is signing up almost every client they get because it is cheaper to ride with us than it would be to ask your neighbor to drive you when we are at a $2 per trip mark up. So again, the fully allocated cost, what it cost us per mile is over $4.25, and the proposed request is to make it $4 per trip.
Can you go back a couple of?
Sure.
No, to that one first. The other one. No. Back where you were, back toward the back.
Keep going backwards or
No,
move
no.
forward?
Forward.
Sorry.
You went one too many.
The other ones do have like the cost for operating per an hour.
No, one more, yeah, there. So what we're seeing here, so to make sure we know what we're looking at. We had 33,693 trips for a total operating cost of $1.5 million. And for the $1.5 million in total operating expenses, we only collected $7,000.
Under rope. Under the rope program.
You know, if you only put something in front of us that told us to speak into our mic, we might do a better. You can see this from the back row even, can't you? But I can't read it right in front of my face. That's April. Yeah. No, April said it wasn't her. I don't know who it is. So, all right, so help us understand that $7,042.
Rope is only one small piece of our total grant funding and our total operations. Like we do a lot for Medicaid, we do a lot for RBO, Parks and Rec, Trinity Living Center.
Are
but
those folks paying to ride?
they pay a completely different way.
Okay.
So transit is very, very hard to explain. There's so many moving pieces and so many different parts and so many different ways things are paid for. This increase is only going to impact those two areas of rural where you're paying shared ride or dialysis and the urban dialysis. So what you're seeing here is the only thing that increase will affect. So it won't impact any other billing because that's all done differently through different grant fundings.
And
or
this is
direct pay.
only for dialysis.
It's for
Share trip.
the ones that are up there, dialysis, rural and urban, and the shared ride that go under the EdTap and the RGP. RGP is rural general public. And I would be someone who's rural general public.
So they just need a ride.
Yeah, I could call up and get it. I don't fall under the 60 plus, so I'm not under HCCBG. If I was, you couldn't charge me because I would fall under a category that you are not allowed to charge fares for.
Yeah, I think what I'm interested in, probably all of us are interested in understanding is there's all these buckets of riders. We have all these categories of riders. Some ride for free because of grants for different conditions or issues, and some we charge for. And these are the folks that we're charging for. Are these the only folks we're charging for?
Some are direct pay through their human service agency. So the individual riding the client is not paying, but the human service agency is paying based on our contract with them.
So what I'm getting at is if we're going from I'm still trying to get my head wrapped around, we have a group of folks who are paying to ride out of their pocket. They're getting on the bus, they're handing cash, right? That's the way they do it?
Yes.
I'm trying to understand, is that only $7,000 of our total ride share?
Our revenue.
Is $7,000 all we're getting from folks, from these folks?
Yes.
And so, out of $1.5 million, a lot of that is paid by grants, and the county pays a lot as well to pay for this, but we're looking to affect this $7,000 in some way.
Yes, essentially, instead of 7, we would get 14. And all of that money, all of that 7 goes right back into rope for people to ride. We don't keep any of it. So it's not going to offset our total budget. It's just going to slow down how quickly we use that rope funding up.
Can you tell us how much the county is subsidized?
Because all their money is kind of, it's all together, and so I would have to spend some time researching that.
I mean, what I'm getting at is,
You want to know what the
it's
county's spending versus.
$1.5 million and it's affecting $7,000 worth. Why aren't we just eating that?
Okay.
Can we,
We can work on getting.
Let's leave it the way it is and
Can we
come
just-
back to the county at the end of the year if they need $7,000.
can we just,
Right, so I mean, this is something that I think that you could, sorry, I need to turn my mic on too. This wouldn't change until the budget's approved. She's just coming now to ask for it to be part of the process.
And it's
right?
up to the board. Only the board can raise fees. If you don't want to waive it, you just vote not to waive it. And
well, I
it's
don't
over.
want us to waive it without, just because we're in the mood to waive it. You know, I want to know what, and y'all are doing your job, the board's meeting, they're making recommendations that are, you know, in the best interest, they feel like. Can we just, I don't know if we want to table it,
I'd like to table it,
table it?
and I'd like to go to your next meeting that you have, if it's before budget, with your transit people.
Right? April?
Yeah, I'd like to do that and get a complete explanation. That'll give you time to get the breakdown that we need to make an informed
Yes,
decision.
I think you're asking Valerie and I, what's the county spending on this program that we would be increasing these fees for, and how much is it impacting if we were to?
Now, I think we would all probably agree, if it's $7,000, I wouldn't go as far to say, well, let's just eat that too, because then that explodes.
Right, right.
People say, oh, yeah.
Well, then everybody's gonna want it
Yeah,
free.
then we've got 90,000 trips all of it. In fact, I'm calling them and saying, come pick me up and bring me to the county commission meeting.
You're gonna
We
say,
are
bring my golf
working-
club is what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
We're working directly with dialysis, try to explain to them that we're not under the MB model, so we're not trying to increase our miles, we're not trying to increase our trips, we're trying to effectively transport the people who need us, because we've gotten most recently a lot of calls where we called the client to sign them up, and they're like, I don't need a ride to dialysis. Why would I need a ride? And so they're just sending everyone to us without really doing the evaluation. Does this person need the transportation? And like you mentioned, there are some, and I love giving rides, but we want to focus on the people that really, really need the transportation.
Well, my guess is folks that are paying this $7,000 probably have a need as well. So let's be mindful of them and,
And
anyway.
the $2 is hard for us sometimes because people are like, it's just $2, why do I even have to pay that? So
Yeah,
I understand that if
Some
the
folks-
county wants to pay for all of it, then that does get rid of the $2 collection as well.
All right,
Chairman, as a matter of procedure, we've noticed this for a public hearing. We could have the public hearing today and then table a decision until later. That way we wouldn't have to renotice a new public hearing unless you want to have another public hearing. I just wanted to make that option available.
There's nobody here to speak about it, so.
We can open it and close it and then
Let's,
table.
let's take a moment and open for a public. There may be someone that wants to speak on this. Bobby? You want to finish your speech?
He's finished.
I'm sorry. All right, we'll close the hearing, and let's just table this for Jay. You're going to go to the next meeting, Craig?
I'll
With
go,
them?
well, no, it's not till April.
April, yeah, April. Jay, when should we put this off for?
Sometime in May.
First meeting in,
Well, you don't,
Second April or
second meeting in April?
I can reach out to the advisory board and see if we can have a special meeting.
I don't want to do that.
We can do the
to 'em.
second meeting
All right,
in April.
all right, motion to table this until the second meeting in April.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. All right, good.
Oh, that's trouble.
Ah. Eli. Proposed revision to personnel.
I better be careful here.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Am I good? All right, we've got a couple bigger. I don't know if I know how to do bigger. Let's see. April. How's that?
That's good.
Okay,
Thanks.
no problem. We've got a couple proposed revisions to the personnel ordinance, couple additions, couple deletions. I'm happy to walk you through all of them if you want, or if you've got specific questions, just let me know. In general, this is, big picture, this is, personnel ordinance was adopted in 1983 and doesn't really appear to have been touched since. So this brings this in alignment with current policies, and also sort of addresses the relationship between the personnel ordinance and the personnel policy, which the board has adopted from time to time and can revise as they see fit. This just allows those two to work better together, if that makes sense.
So this hasn't been updated since '83, you said?
Best I can tell, yes.
I mean, I think we're probably wondering, how have we updated personnel policy over the years and this not been kept up with?
Well, and so this really sort of gives the county sort of broad direction of how to govern personnel. The policy gets into the nitty-gritty by and large, and so you really can update the policy to accomplish what I suspect has been the desires of the board without having to address this. I mean, the personnel policy, I may be wrong, but I'm probably not, is significantly longer than the personnel ordinance and
Yeah,
much more
so-
detailed.
So the general public understands, we're not looking at 100 pages of changes.
Right, it's 2 pages to, I mean, the ordinance is not
It's not even,
long.
it's not even half a page
Correct.
that we're changing. Anything of significance that you'd want to talk to the public about in this? Any changes?
No, not, I mean, in short, we're recognizing the, statutory references for public records. This new section 2-37 is, sort of recognizes the relationship between the personnel ordinance and the personnel policy. You've got a removal of a requirement for the manager to give reports of hiring and firings at every meeting, and then you're just changing some legalese as it relates to promotion policy.
Yeah, the two things that we see on here, county manager shall report appointments to positions within the county government monthly at a meeting of the Board of Commissioners. How many employees do we have? 1,200 employees? Yeah, so I don't think Aaron.
About 1,000.
1,000, so Aaron's not gonna take time to report that we hired someone at the, for Parks and Recreation, right? And by the same token, upon dismissal or removal of any officer, employees, or agent, the county manager shall report the same monthly at a meeting, and so we're not gonna give names and positions that we've let go either, so.
Could we not just have it so that the county manager has to inform board? In other words, with an email or a letter telling us what is taking place?
You certainly could. What this language comes from is I'd have to get my statutory reference if you wanted it, but statute that allows the commission to delegate hiring and firing authority to the manager also gives the board in that act the ability to require the manager to make these reports at the commission meeting. And so that's where this comes from, is in 1983, whatever board was in place at the time decided they wanted the manager to make these reports. So this is directly from North Carolina statutes as an option the board has. If you wanted to look into that requirement, if you wanted to codify it, we could sort of explore ways to do that.
Or do we need it?
I think we need it. I mean, we've been going.
We currently email vacancies to the board, but we can email anything the board wants.
It doesn't have to be in ordinances for that.
I'd like to be informed of the new hires, just so when people ask me, I'll know what they're talking about.
Okay.
Does that need to be placed in here?
I mean, you certainly could, but I don't know that unless you feel a need to. I mean, imagine you can
Well,
ask the manager and he'll tell you.
It has to be a policy change.
Yeah, Commissioner is asking that, I mean, what specifically do you want to know? Like if we hire someone?
Well, just like when we hired TJ, or promoted him up to take over emergency services. I'd like to know that, so if I come to a meeting and see him, I'll know he's the new director.
So how deep do we want to go into that? So if we hire a maintenance person, do we want to go that deep, or are we talking about directors?
Management.
You want me to have HR put something together for the next board
Yeah,
to
you
include
put it
that in
on
the policy?
consent. Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay.
Just,
And that would,
but I'd like to know what we're doing.
to Aaron's point, that would be a better fit probably in the personnel policy than the
Okay.
ordinance.
Okay, then.
All right, so then we're not going to pass this. We'll table this as well and let you come back with something.
Well, you can go ahead and pass this.
Okay.
Yeah, that would
This
be
is
separate.
different than the policy.
And this requires to Jay's point earlier, this also requires a public hearing. So we'd have to renotice that if you were going to push this off.
Gotcha. All right, well, let's do that now, and we may have someone here that would like to speak to this. You'd be welcome. All right, seeing none, we'll close that. And commissioners, pending these other changes, do we have a motion to approve the proposed revisions to personnel ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eli.
Yeah, thank you. Anna?
All right, so we have Kelly Gooderham here with Martin Stearns CPA to do the audit presentation.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Okay. This one? Yeah. I'm surprised you guys leave this up to me. I usually screw this up.
Welcome to the party.
Okay, so my name is Kelly Gooderham. I'm the Senior Audit Manager for Rowan County's audit. We've prepared this, the following PowerPoint to present what we feel to be some of the more pertinent topics of the county's fiscal year 25 audit. We have issued a clean, unmodified opinion, which is the best opinion that we can provide, which just basically means that we found nothing to be materially misleading to the users of your financial statements. So this first slide shows you your total revenues and expenditures within the general fund for fiscal year 24 as compared to 25. Overall revenues increased around 9.2 million or 4.3%, and overall expenses increased by about 6.4 million or 3.5%. We'll go through some of the specific details behind some of those increases in the following slides. This is an informational slide to show you the 5 different classifications of fund balance as defined by GASB. So we've got your non-spendable, which is pretty self-explanatory, not in cash form. Your restricted, which is an external restriction, such as those imposed by laws or grantors. Committed, which is an internal constraint set at the highest level or the board level. Assigned, which is also set at the board level, however, lesser constraint than your committed, And then that leaves your unassigned, which has no internal or external constraints. So this shows your 3-year comparison of your general fund balance. 23-24, you saw 25.7, really $25.8 million increase. And from 24 to 25, you saw a 23.7 overall increase. Another informational slide. This shows you how the LGC views or calculates rather, your available fund balance, which is a huge metric that they use to compare units across the state and see how each entity is doing. So you start with your total fund balance, less your non-spendables, and then less your stabilization by state statute, and that gives you your overall available fund balance. For 25, your available fund balance, as defined by the LGC, was $152 million. So we take that, that dollar amount, we turn it into a percentage of expenditures. The LGC, for a unit of your size, the minimum allowed percentage is 16%. So as you can see for 25, you guys are doing pretty darn well with that, and it's been steadily increasing over the last 3 years. So now your top 3 general fund revenues and expenditures. First, your revenues. So that comprises your sales tax, your restricted intergovernmental, and your property taxes. Total revenues was $221.5 million, but we'll go over those top 3 revenues in greater detail. Property taxes increased around $3.5 million or 3%. Since there was no tax rate increase in the current year, that's just due to overall increase in collections and probably property valuations across the county. Your local option sales tax increased about $2.5 million or 6%, which was a pretty common thing that was seen across the state for local option sales tax distributions from the state. And then we have your restricted intergovernmental revenues, which includes your federal and state grants, increase around $665,000 or 2.7%, mostly due to federal grant funding. And then top 3 general fund expenditures. Total expenditures was $190.3 million. Of that, your top 3 are your human services, your education, and your public safety. Education increased about $6.9 million or 13.8%, which was mostly due to an increase in public school expenditures. Public safety decreased about $5.9 million or 11%, mostly due to some larger capital outlay purchases in fiscal year 24 that did not occur again in this year. And then human services increased about $1.7 million or 4.9%, which was mainly due to an increase in overall salaries and related benefits for your DSS employees, as well as COLA increases that occurred. Now for your major enterprise funds. We'll start with your airport fund. Unrestricted net position ended at roughly $3.6 million. Cash flow from operations increased to $938,000. Your overall net income was $3.8 million. And then your quick ratio, which just takes your current assets and your current liabilities, gives you a ratio of 1.4. The LGC's concerned with, although the LGC doesn't really include airport funds or landfill funds in their assessment. It's only water and sewer. But even so, they are concerned with anything less than 1. So as you can see, it's declining, but it's still doing good. And then your landfill fund, unrestricted net position increased to $7.2 million. Cash flow from operations increased $3.2 million. Your net income ended at $594,000, and your quick ratio was 52.3. So first, we'll start with the good news. Positive performance indicators. Again, this comes from, or not again, but rather This comes from a report that we submit along with your audit report to the LGC. It's called a data input report. It comes directly from your financial statements. We put it into the logo system, and it spits out certain performance indicators, financial performance indicators. So some positive ones, good general fund available fund balance percentage, your enterprise quick fund ratios, which was your water sewer, because landfill and airport is not included in that for whatever reason. And then we noted a stable property tax valuation and collection percentage. And then the financial performance indicator of concern was the fact that your water fund operating loss, I think this includes debt service and excludes that I don't remember specifically, but it's a specific calculation that takes into account that basically says your rates are not covering your operating expenses and debt services because you're operating at a loss. So in fiscal year 24, it was 173 in the negative, and this year it's roughly 90,000. So it's getting better, but it's still in the negative. And so the LGC just wants to point that out to the board, as well as require me to say it to the board. So a response for that is required to the LGC within 60 days of the date of this presentation.
I'll respond today. If you can find somebody who would like to run it, we'd be glad to sell it.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Do we have debt service on that?
There is no debt service in the water fund. Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
that's the letter that's part of your agenda item that you got to. It's addressing that particular issue. If we can get that done tonight, it just takes something off my to-do list. Yes.
Yeah, the letter talks about us working with Salisbury to try to come up with another arrangement that would decrease the.
What a joke.
Or
You can raise the rates.
Or
You can give it to the city.
there we
It's
go.
losing money, give it away.
Yeah, we're working on that now.
And-
That's the northern water system for Dukeville that we had to do, and so it wasn't as easy as building a water line and turning it on.
It never is.
We ended up having to build substations.
Treatment station, yeah.
Treatment stations and replacing Citizens Plumbing and all of that. Salisbury didn't want that line when we were going through all of that, and now we're about done with all that, and we would be glad to put a bow on it and put it under someone's Christmas tree.
I can understand that wholeheartedly.
So that'll be good news for the folks. So we working on that, I guess? Yeah.
Yep. Craig Powers is working on that.
Greg, hey, attaboy.
That'll get done.
All right, thank you. All right, any?
That's all I have. So if there are any additional questions that I can help with?
So
So if you can just authorize the signing of that letter so we can get that taken care of. I think that's the only other item that was attached to this.
So that's been
Agenda item.
circulating. Do we have to vote on that letter?
I don't know that it has to be voted on. We just need to get it signed. Yes.
Who's got that?
And everybody, I guess all four of you would sign it.
The
What do I
majority.
do? Yeah. So since one's not here, it's okay.
That's fine,
Okay,
yeah.
perfect. Thank you.
Just as long as the LGC is aware that you all are aware, that's really the whole point of it.
We are certainly aware. Any questions for her? Any comments? Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right, a few board appointments. First of all, the following people submitted applications to the Agriculture Advisory Board. Morgan Mosher for reappointment. Michael Shepard, that's his first appointment. Board of Adjustments, Town of Rockwell, Elizabeth Bolts applied for reappointment for one open at-large seat. And Parks and Rec Board, Ephraim Sloan applied for an at-large seat. Therapeutic Recreation Board, Well, let me stop on those three. And so do we have a motion to approve those three appointments?
So
Four
moved.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
On the Therapeutic Recreation Board, Carla Gray submitted her resignation on February 13th to that board. Motion to accept that.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Kyle Jonathan Huffman then applied for an at-large seat on that board. So motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Town of Rockwell Planning and Zoning Board, ETJ, Stephen Coral submitted application for appointment to one of the open ETJ seats. Motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Jay,
That's it.
do we have a closed?
No closed session.
Oh, that was from February.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, anything else?
Nope.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, be safe.